Everywhere you go, you can hear the laughter. Little kids playing, chasing after. Innocence shines bright like a built-in light. With their giggles and smiles, everything feels right. Oh, the joy of little children filling up the air. Their happiness, contagious, nothing can compare. Just watch them run and play, carefree and wild. Oh, the joy of little children.
Hello, good afternoon. Hello, Janice. Hello, Dawn. Good afternoon, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in. Welcome in. Hello, Lovey. Hello, hello. I hope everybody's having a beautiful day. Oh my goodness, it's so hot. It is hot. Hey, Tam here. Hello. You finally caught a live. Hello, Sidetrack and Heather. Hello, all the beautiful people. Hello, BMW Coupe. Hello, hello. I hope everybody's doing good today. It's so nice to see y'all. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Please make sure you hit the thumbs up and come in and grab yourself something to drink. Hey, Terry Parker. Hello, good to see you. Always good to see you. Hello, hello. I hope y'all had a great day. Y'all don't make me pull my mask down today. I just took a shower. My hair is like all discombobulated. I have washed several dogs today outside in the heat. Oh my gosh. Hopefully they'll be resting, but you might hear Happy snoring. I don't know. She's laying right here. She might be too tired to snore, actually. I don't know. It's been a good day so far, though. Hey, Heather. Oh, thank you so much. Hey, Danny Lynn and Elle Kennedy. Hello, hello. I'm glad to see we're all here together, too. Amen for that. Welcome, everyone. Monday, May 26th. I always hate to say Happy Memorial Day, but I'm going to say Happy Memorial Day to you and your families. And I want to honor those who died and paid the ultimate price and was in the service, and to those family members and, to those, I hope they find some peace today, because some very brave men and women gave their lives for our freedom. And as we know, they call it freedom, but freedom is not actually free. And I am grateful that we are here in this country. Hey, West End. Hello, hello. You're fine. Hey, Amanda Jane. So I just hope everyone has a blessed, peaceful day. That's right, Heather. Some gave all. Some gave all. Just remember those who truly gave everything and what today is truly about. Absolutely. And prayers for Sebastian, Wayne, Drake Rogers, and Seth Rogers. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because today is hard. Every day's hard for Seth. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hi, Kathy. Having a wet day there? Yeah, I had a wet day too without going swimming. I was just telling them that. I went swimming with my hose pipe. Oh, yeah. I went swimming with my hose pipe and it got the best of me. uh, hey, Barb. Hello, hello. LG Rescues. Hello. It's wet there. The sun has been shining here. It's just, I can tell it's going to be a very hot, hot summer. I can tell you. And I know we complain when it's cold and we wish it would hurry up and get warm. I just wish it would stay just a normal in between. The 60s would be fine with me. But it's going to be hot and muggy, I can tell. Hey, Wendy. Hello. Good to see you. I hate it when it's so hot and humid and you don't feel like going anywhere. It's just yucky, and you take a shower and 5 minutes later, it's just, ugh. You had a month of nonstop rain there in Oklahoma. Ugh. I don't mind the rain sometimes, especially if you can stay in. Hey, Kathy. Yeah, it's don't laugh at me, honey. But I do hate to drive in it. I do hate to drive in it. Oh. But I like being home because I have a metal roof, so I like being home, just being lazy. Joanne Marie, hello, hello. You're fine. I'm trying to give people time to come in now. You're fine. Yeah, there you didn't miss too much, just saying our hellos. Alicia, hello, hello. I hope everybody had a good night rest last night after last night. I know Annie come back and posted on, I do want to get something clear. She come back and posted, she said, I'm so embarrassed. I want you to erase that. She said, or will you, or something. I told her, don't be embarrassed. But I said, honey, Smiley, don't erase nothing over here. What you see is what you get. So, and don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. It's all good over here in Smiley's hood. It's tornado season. Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, hopefully you won't get any tornadoes or get hit by any tornadoes. Mother Nature has not been nice in 2025. I'm telling you, she just has not been too nice to anybody. I really hadn't caught up on the news on the weather, but I was like, before I came on yesterday, I know you did, Janice. I was thinking when she wrote in there, Smiley, I think you done been had. I was thinking, maybe I done been had by her. I'm just kidding. But y'all stop. But I know it was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking. But the earthquake came to Pensacola. So anybody in Pensacola, did y'all feel that earthquake? I don't know. I just don't know. That's kind of scary though. We start having earthquakes here, Smiley starts getting nervous. I start getting a little bit nervous. Just a little bit. Just saying. Just saying. Now we start talking tsunamis, honey, I'm getting the heck out of Dodge. I'm just saying. We got hit with one last year and it damaged our roof and was denied by FEMA. I'm going to tell you something. Maybe I shouldn't say it on here, but you know me, I got a mouth. FEMA It's not, I'll just say they're not very much help. Maybe they are to some people. But look, I seen damage like I ain't never seen before in a Category 5 hurricane. And I ain't speaking just for me. I'm speaking for people all around here. They ain't much help. That's all I'm going to say. Hey, Daniel. Yo. Happy Memorial Day. Hello. Well, I hope y'all are at least eating good today. I chose to. Hey, Amy Lynn. Wendy. Yeah, Florida rain does suck. Yesterday it was it would rain and stop. But it would be like, okay, it's gonna hard rain real quick. Like 3 seconds, and then it would stop. Do it again, stop, do it again. I'm like, what is going on here? But no, we're choosing to grill this afternoon, like when the sun goes down a little bit. So we ain't getting out there in that hot mess. You got me messed up, honey. You got me messed all the way up. I'm just saying. It's too muggy, yeah. Yeah, especially when it rains like that. Ugh, absolutely. But put a 1 in here. How many of y'all saw Seth's uncut video from the news? Because he had somebody there taping it. And we're going to watch that today. And I am going to speak on Sebastian. You're enjoying this weekend. I hope you all enjoy it. So y'all did see it. Okay. Hello, Heather. Val, hello. Yeah, I figure people would probably be playing it. I did see it when it happened, but that's when I got off of my live, and I was pretty busy yesterday, so I thought, well, you hadn't seen it, okay, good. So I thought, well, it'll still be there tomorrow. Let it sink in with everybody. And, I'm not one that always has to jump on real quick and be the first. So, yeah, he posted it on his page. So, I am going to play it now, and we'll go over that before I start talking on everything. But before I do, I know I probably got some people in the bushes, and I want to get something clear. Because okay. So I want to get something clear. Yes, I sent in many things, okay? And I did send that post, and y'all, I don't have to go back over this. Y'all seen my letter. Of course, I start getting the little Chris and Katie fans over in my community post. I'm not going to argue with nobody, okay? Everybody's free to have their opinions and say what they want. But the last one was a little bit too idiotic for me, okay? First of all, you're not an investigator, and you're not this, and you're not that, blah, 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 blah. Well, first of all, and it come from somebody that it wasn't a post. It come from, they sent it to their friend, and their friend posted it. Well, let me explain something to you all who this goes right over your heads. Oh, yeah, I see you in the bushes. It's going up, my numbers. So listen, and listen real good, okay? Like I said on my post, I never said I was an investigator, which I did post to you. Number one, I would probably make a better investigator than half of these that are on YouTube with a damn license. That's number one, and that's a fact. Number two, They probably ain't a real good friend of Chris and Katie's if they took the damn text message that they trusted them with and posted it on the internet. And number 3, it does not change the fact that they still never mentioned Sebastian's name in there. And number 4, they still said they was watching all of the internet all day long. And 5, last but not least, it still sounded like a freaking greeting card. And they are not out looking for their son while they're watching the internet. That all is facts. And oh no, this is last but not least. That is just the open letter I put out. That ain't even the half of what I've done. So nobody's going to stop me. I'm not going to stop, and you're not going to tell me what to do. But I do want to tell you the facts of life and crime. And don't take my word for it. Look it up. Because I did, just to get my facts straight. I ask, does anybody that commits crimes, any crime, I didn't even say what crime, do they usually watch what's going on the internet? And this is what I got. It said, yes, many people who commit crimes, especially serious ones like abduction, abuse, or murder, do monitor online activity, especially when the case is receiving public attention. Here's why they often do it. Why offenders watch online. Number 1, to stay ahead of the investigators. They want to see if law enforcement or the public is getting close. They may monitor what witnesses, family, or investigators are saying. 2, to control the narrative. Some perpetrators try to influence, sound familiar? The public opinion by posting misleading or emotional messages like vague sympathy posts, pretending to be concerned, deflecting suspicion. 3, out of guilt, ego, or obsession. Some watch obsessively because guilt, narcissism, or even a desire to relive the crime, especially in abuse or homicide cases. 4, to harass or intimidate. Watching online gives them a way to keep tabs on people who might speak out. In some cases, they engage in comment wars, fake profiles, or even contact victims' families. So don't tell me what the fuck to do. Sit all the way down. I don't know where y'all been all of your lives. But if I see something, I'm going to say something because they look mighty suspicious to me. And if they're not, great for them. Now let's get that straight first. Stay out of my shit. Don't come for me, and I won't come for you. Now let's carry on.
Rogers, Rogers. I'm Sebastian, Great Rogers' father.
We'll talk to you a little bit. How long has it been since Sebastian?
15 months.
What has that been like? You know,
Full credit goes to Seth Rogers. He had somebody taping this, and we're going to listen to the full uncut interview.
So, for people joining, now the story, what has happened so far in terms of police investigation? Off the bat, you had helicopters. There was, TBI was out there on horseback riding.
National Guard, there was ATVs, there were drones, everything for the first 8 days. And then for the rest of it, there's been somewhat communication with this department here. But I've also had conversations.
I'm good. You'll have to rewind it.
Sheriff Craddock says he doesn't really care what his constituents think. Doesn't care what the public thinks. That's a problem when you're an elected official. My son's the one missing. I don't live in this county, and yet he's up there in his office over there, just chilling, enjoying his paycheck, while I'm sitting here trying to find my son. This weekend is International and National Missing Children's, and my son's still missing. And it seems that the lack of communication and the lack of doing their job is leading to me believing that the case is going to go cold. I'm still getting tips in. There's still people saying that they're calling and putting in tips. But when I follow up on a tip, and the police departments at those locations haven't ever heard of Sumner County or have never heard that my son, that tells me they're not doing their job. They're letting my son's case go cold, not me. I will be out here a year from now, 2 years from now, hopefully not that long. Hopefully my son is found. It'd be nice if his other parents were actually doing the same thing. But it all falls on my shoulders to ask people to help find my son. My son means something to me. People should be doing their job. If a child goes missing, you should be putting in the effort as if it was your child that went missing. These people aren't doing that.
That kind of leads me to my next question. What would you like to see?
Sorry. He said he thinks that they should put in the effort just as if it was their child that went missing. And that's the truth. What if it was their child that went missing? Wouldn't they want everybody in that police department that they were co-workers and buddies with, wouldn't they do a call to action from every surrounding police department? I don't care what anybody says. A lot of people don't understand this. Seth is a fellow officer. He deserves nothing more than what he's asking for. He don't need privy information. All he needs is what he's asking for. Somebody to go out and look, or to call in extra sets of eyes and absolutely give him the respect, not only as a father, but as a fellow worker. And, how do they do their falling? People say, well, he's not working there anymore. It's none of your business if he is or if he's not, but whatever. He is an officer of the court. He's asking for help. Why is he not getting the help? You know, this is ridiculous. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. And as far as corrupt, no, everybody in the police is not corrupt. But all it takes is one. All it takes is one. Is that what's happening here? I don't know.
I'd like to see them actually do a press conference where they actually have my son's picture in the back. Because the last time they did a press conference, Sumner County and TBI, they didn't even have a picture of the missing child. Most press conferences, when it's about a
I'm sorry, but did you hear him? He's correct. He's correct. Go back and think about it. Most press conferences, he says, think of Brandy Neal's. Think of any other press conferences you see. Don't they come out and do a press conference and have a picture of the missing child up, the police department? Now, there would be two reasons why they're not doing that. One, they know, and I hate, because I know Seth is probably in the bushes somewhere, but and I don't know that for a fact, but he will watch this, I'm sure. Either they know for a fact that Sebastian's no longer with us. I'm going to try to put it as nicely as I can. And they know who's responsible. And they're just waiting to, hi Gene and everybody coming in, they're just waiting to find Sebastian. Or they're being arrogant assholes and somebody is doing a cover-up and they're not following everything. And I hope to God that they're crossing all their T's, dotting all their I's, and it's just a terrible mistake, misjudgment. Some young punk is in there as a sheriff and can't get over himself to get out of the way long enough to come out and do a conference. And when he does, he forgets everything and can't remember everything to put a picture up. That's all I'm hoping. Yes, you can, Val. You sure can. But you got to have the right minds, I guess, and the right, you can't have no dummies to try to do that. Because if they don't dot all their I's and cross all their T's, then they're going to walk anyway. I'm just saying. All right, I'm going to try to not stop this for a while. Hold on.
missing child, at least they have the dignity to have a picture of the missing child in the background. So the people watching the news can know that this is the person they're looking for. And they don't even show that.
Would you like to see them kind of conducting more searches?
I would love to see them actually conducting more searches. I'd like to have some communication on the tips that have come in just with me, so that I know that when a tip comes in, I'm not following up on what the job they're supposed to do. But at this point in time, with their lack of, I don't know what you would consider the unprofessionalism. I don't even know if a tip comes in, if I shouldn't track it down, because I don't know if they can do their job properly. Because so far they haven't. My son's been missing for 15 months. And they don't care. Their lack of communication with the public, their lack of communication with me, is all telling me that they don't care that my son is missing.
In the statement, they reached out to
Hey, Lorraine Law.
on that and said, we are working on things behind the scenes that you don't know about. Is that frustrating? You're kind of talking about it a little bit.
To me, I'm working on it behind the scenes. If you don't know what's going on, is a huge shield on I'm not doing anything because my pockets have been flat. This gentleman that got elected here, if this is what Sumner County wants to represent their law enforcement, then I am sorry for any child that goes missing in this county. They just had a missing child go missing out of Hendersonville PD. Don't know what the circumstances are, but Henderson found a child. Found a child yesterday. Like less than 24 hours from my understanding, the child was missing and the child was missing. I'm here 15 months. And they'd rather not answer their phone.
Hope you're enjoying yours,
or even
honey.
be at work. I'm tired of having to text Brandon Carter to try to get information because he's too much of a yellow-bellied coward to pick up the phone like a real person and communicate with the father of a missing child.
How do you, I guess, because I know you've been speaking with other families too that have gone through similar situations or just activities like but I guess, what do you kind of do to help? What advice would you help?
I continue to press out flyers. I continue to make sure that there's available information. People ask me, I answer what I can. Because I know that some information given me, I can't tell you. And I understand that. We're trying to make sure the case stays. But I'm trying to find my son. They're trying to solve the case. You can't go solve a case if you don't find my son. And I've sent out an email to both the senators of the state of Tennessee. I've sent out an email to every representative of the state of Tennessee, and none of them want to respond to me. The only person that has responded was a representative from Marshall Blackburn, one of her case representatives, actually called me back, and I had to tell them what was going on. They didn't even know my son was missing. There's still people in the state of Tennessee that don't know how many children go missing every day. And people are just like, it's fine. They don't care. Well, you got to start caring somewhere. Because if they don't care, they're not going to do their job. And as constituents, people, we run this country, people. We are the ones that are supposed to care. If you don't care about your children, then why are you having them? And if you care about your children, please make sure you put them tight at night and watch them.
Yeah, that was earlier.
Because they can find Osama bin Laden, but they can't find my son who's been missing for 15 months. How many other parents are out there that their children are missing? They don't even bother to do interviews because they don't care. Well, I care about my son. His name is Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. And if you can't say his name, you've got problems.
Waiting for answers on their kids as well. Is that, I mean, what do you think about that?
A parent demands answers. We
Amen.
demand answers because our heart is missing. I'm in the process of writing a law, and I'm going to need support to push this law into Congress. And it's a federal oversight law on places like CPS, DCS, the Amber Alert, taking it out of people's hands that don't care about the children, and getting actual agencies that do to take over the case. because they won't relinquish it because they're too proud to understand that sometimes you have to ask for help. I ask for help every day. I ask people to pass out flyers. I ask people to remember my son's name. Keep this picture up. Keep your eyes open to see if you see him. And if you do see him, please call 911. And if you have my son, please understand that he is my world. I need him. I need him back with me. And son, if you can see this, if you can hear this, understand that I will not let you go back to that environment you came from. Over my dead body, should a child ever have to endure what happened in that house that he was in. And I am so sorry that I did not know what was going on. But I will do my best to bring you home and keep you safe from me.
Talk a little bit about it. And I know you spoke to one about this, the daily battle you had getting out of bed, facing every day, same thing.
It's the same thing every day. You know, getting out of bed, the only reason I get out of bed is to try to find my son. That's it. It's the only thing that gets me out of bed at times. Just hoping that I got the right tip. I've been to Bristol, Virginia to check up on the last tip. And people said that they called it in. They called it into Sumner County. Well, when I went up there and spoke to the police department, they had never heard from Sumner County. And they didn't know that my son was missing. So I gave them flyers, I gave them contact information for the FBI, for TBI. I've got text messages between me and Brandon Carter. That's all I have for the last 15, months. And those text messages, Stacy is the only detective on the case. And I've been stating from day one that we need more than just one set of eyes on this case. Same guy looking at the same information. The last time I had a
They could if they really wanted to.
video, I pointed out things. He was like, well, I didn't notice that before. That's why you have to have more than one set of eyes on the information.
And then if something else came up while they were holding them, boom.
It just goes to show that their motivation isn't doing their job or their civic duties. That oath to the Constitution, when you take it, it's got to mean something to you. And I'm not saying that it means anything to me.
What was your message?
It's okay. I know we're all upset about this. I know it's okay though. It'll all come out. It will. I feel like Woman's Warrior, it'll all come out. I really do. But this right here, what you're seeing is somebody that would walk through fire and everything else for his son. And y'all are right. Katie's not doing this. They're not up there trying to get Ellie to come out and talk. It makes no sense. Make it make sense. Yeah, Sharon. Exactly. Locked door. Katie and Chris, both is ex-military. Now, I know Chris allegedly was not there. There's a lot of people having trouble with that one. You know? And it is cruel to do a father this way. It is cruel. Hey, Miss Ann and everybody coming in. You know? And we're gonna talk about these things, but it's just, I'm very proud Seth went up there and did this. Nobody should shut him down for his feelings. Of course, you see the news edited a lot of this, took it out, just like America's Most Wanted did. And that's sad. I don't care who you are. You shouldn't shut the father down for how he's feeling, and you shouldn't tell him how to feel and how to think. But yet the mother, after her 10 stories, 12 changed 24 times in a day, you know, that's okay. And y'all can post that. You can give them an R&B. Because why? They don't want to show Sebastian's room. Is it even his room anymore? Do they even have a room for him anymore? Where's his stuff? They done been challenged by Silver's on the Scene to post a video. Like, date it with the timestamp. Post it. You know? Seth had the room ready to go. They spent like 3 hours at his house. He didn't have a problem with them coming there. And what? They showed like 2 or 3 minutes of Seth? Crazy. See, Katie forgot to tell them she's on video and people have pictures of her with her windows up. So she did not do when she was driving and trying to do the reenactment with her windows down and doing this and doing that, because she's a liar. Really? I don't know, Michelle, how she lives with herself. And more importantly than all of the BS, I don't know how she lives without her child. Knowing what she knows, and she knows what she knows. And Craddock standing up there going, we don't know what we don't know. Oh, you know. How is it the whole world can know, but you don't know? Stop with the riddles.
If you carry a shit and you don't want to do your job, you're the problem with it. You're the problem with the professionalism. You become law enforcement to serve the people. And my son's not being served by this one. Neither am I. To all the parents that are missing children out there, I'm praying with you every day that your child is home, that your child is found. And I am praying every day that Sebastian Wade Great Rogers is found and brought home. Everybody be blessed and stay safe. Hug your kids.
Wow. Just heartbreaking. I'm so glad Seth put out that whole interview too. Um, I really am. Hey, Mama Risa. Uh, she said, I would like to know. Hold on, before it goes up. I what I would like to know is, where is an interview with Katie? Exactly. If the news has not contacted me, for one, I would have contacted them to get my voice out there screaming for my son. Exactly. Where is Katie standing in front of the police department? Where is Katie asking for answer? Oh no, just like at the courthouse, wasn't there news cameras there when, Bullhorn Betty had to go to court and they had to, for all BS? She just walked right past the cameras. She could have stopped and, she could have said, the news would have loved that. They would have ate that up. They would have ate that up in a heartbeat. Yeah, I bet it did when he put that whole interview out, in my opinion, but, oh well. Oh well. Y'all go over there and sub up to Seth. I know everybody knows where he's at, but this is, he's under Seth R. Rogers, Sebastian's father. Make sure you go sub up to him. Let me get that down just a second. But I'm glad he put that out. And I'm glad we saw that, Seth. I'm really glad he did that. I'm glad he did it. That is a man that we saw in the beginning that he's hurting, man. He's hurting. And he's never gave up. He hurts every day. And, it is what it is. But where's Sebastian? I put that on my picture of Sebastian right there. My story is not over. Sebastian's story is not over, and it's not going to be over until Sebastian is found and until we know what happened, period. But, now in this case, we know also, let's talk about CPS for a minute. I know this is some hard stuff to talk about, but I'm going to talk about it for a minute. We know CPS has been to the home of Chris and Katie at least 5 times. Seth, has those records now, but he did not find out about those CPS reports until after Sebastian became missing, and he had to get an attorney to get those records. That is insane to me. But it happened. Things happen, and this is one of those things. He heard about the CPS was involved the first time, unfortunately, on my interview with the Proud Feet, when I asked and Chris admitted that, yeah, CPS had been to their house and Seth was in the bushes, and he heard it for the first time. And but Chris lied. Chris said they had been to his house once there and once in New Mexico. I don't know why he was stupidly throwing New Mexico out there, unless it had something to do with Sebastian too. But, nobody imagined that it would lead into 5 CPS reports at their house that had to do with Sebastian. But Chris admitted it. nobody, because he thought nobody would get the records. That's what he thought. I'm just going to tell you, because that's highly unusual. But Seth got his attorney and got the records. They didn't realize nobody was not going to stop on this case. They didn't realize that. For one. and Chris didn't realize that was even possible, for two, I can just tell you. But anyway, Chris admitted it, and he admitted that it was when he was 15, and it was for hitting him, whacking him, whatever, with the belt. All that come out on my channel. And he kind of laughed about it, and he tried to backtrack it on Nancy Grace's interview when him and Katie. So Katie was very aware of it. She was trying to cover up for Chris, and all this is tried to be, they're covering for each other in everything, the abuse, the neglect, and whatever else has happened after the fact, before and after the fact. So they can both be charged with lots of stuff. Anyway, they tried to tell Nancy Grace that was years ago. Well, no, it wasn't. But anyway, and Seth has the CPS reports to prove it. Hey, Raymond Thomas. And then Chris laughed about it and acted like him and the CPS lady. Excuse me, hold on. Sorry. He acted like him and the CPS lady were buddies and pretty chummy, and told Sebastian, both of them, allegedly, according to Chris, that he could not be calling them like that. Remember, he could not be calling them like that, pretty much. And that left, in my opinion, Sebastian feeling like he had nowhere to turn. CPS and his mom, and even, in my opinion, Chris, failed him, sadly. That was just the tip of the iceberg. I want to know, did Chris and Katie make Sebastian fear everything in and outside his home? And especially in the outside world, when it came to, what was going on their inside world? Was he threatened? Was he threatened with his father and telling his father? Was he threatened with his life? Was he threatened always to be sent away? Was he hit and beat? And see, was he told, if you tell, and if anyone comes back out here, they won't believe you anyway? You see? Yeah, I agree, Mama Risa. He was screaming for help. He thought the teachers would do that, and in Sebastian's mind, didn't tell Seth because he thought Seth would get mad at him, or, there would be a fight between everybody. The teachers was his way of going around that. I believe that. Right, Gina? Can you imagine the things we did not know? I'm not even sure I want to try to imagine. Yes. Yes. Remember Seth saying something like, And he said it on here, and he said it, I'm sure in private, but he said it on here as well. Like Sebastian would ask, back when they were getting their divorce and stuff, or, like Katie would use stuff against him, alienation and stuff like that. So Sebastian would say, Mommy don't love you, or you don't love, do you love Mommy? And Seth would always say, yes. I mean, she's your mom. And, but Katie would try to always alienate. I mean, come on now. It's crazy. So did Sebastian not tell Seth a lot of stuff because of that reason? Or in fear of not getting to go back and see his dad and stuff like that? I don't know. But in my opinion, he was failed. He was shamed. Okay, we're going to get to the shamed part. When Chris took all of his boxers to Seth, and he had to wear, and to me, now, I'd like to see somebody do that and bring them to me. I don't know what happened at that point, but I would probably cram them down somebody's mouth if they tried that with me, with my son. I'm sorry. But with that being said, I don't know. But in my opinion, what I want to talk about is this. Chris took all of his boxers to Seth, and so now he had to wear pull-ups, right? And no matter what, in my opinion, Sebastian knew how to go to the bathroom. He did not have to wear those at Seth's house. And for what we saw on camera, he went to the bathroom at the Texas Roadhouse. Okay? And that means he knew how to use his faculties. Okay? And I don't like talking about this, but that is the fact. Well, I don't like talking about this, Val, but it's the fact. Okay? And I'm trying to make a point here. That was proven. Okay? So that part is really bothering me. But what I'm trying to tell y'all is Katie allowed that too. And it's like when you have a baby or a 2-year-old or a 18-month-old or whatever, and you're potty training them. Okay? You don't give up. You don't throw all their underwear away or whatever. Okay? You just keep trying. Okay? I don't care what the problem is. Now, she allowed this and sent a 15-year-old. I don't care. Quit using autism. Okay? Stop it. I don't want to hear it. I have the autism child. I have the Asperger's child. Stop it. 2. Okay, stop it with me. What I'm trying to tell you is they did that. Katie allowed it and Chris did it for shaming Sebastian. Okay? This brings serious concerns. They did it for humiliation, neglect, and you know what this brings, Sebastian? It brings him severe psychological abuse. It's degrading a teenager, and it can be emotionally harmful to him. That alone should have been reported to CPS. Okay? And we don't know if that's one of the reasons that the teacher or somebody also didn't call CPS out there. And if you ever, I just want to tell you this, if you ever see this in a teen, you don't have to say nothing to them or bring it to their attention. There may be a health issue. There may be a medical issue. Okay. But if you got a 15-year-old up walking around like Sebastian, I'm not talking about in a wheelchair. I'm talking about up walking around like Sebastian, and you notice, if they bend over, or you notice a diaper coming out of their pants or something like that, and you are at school, and you are a friend or whatever, or a teacher, I suggest you do get involved. I suggest you do report it at 1-800-4-A-CHILD. And I suggest that you let them go out and be the judge of if it's neglect or not, or if there's a medical reason or not. For all you know, they could be the cleanest kid in school and being locked up at a cage at home. Now remember, these reports that CPS has previously visited the home, and there are reports that CPS were made. These reports are confidential. It doesn't mean necessarily that there was abuse, but it sure means that someone raised some red flags. But since Sebastian's case is still under, y'all better hear me, since Sebastian's case is still under investigation, law enforcement, and you better hear me, Katie and Chris. Let me just back up and repeat this. Since Sebastian's case is still under investigation, law enforcement might be collecting more evidence quietly and just not yet have met enough legal threshold to make that arrest yet. Now you can hold on to that hope, because sometimes they do delay arrests to keep from compromising larger investigations, especially if foul play is suspected, but not yet proven. And I can understand that to an extent. I can, but I pray if that's what they're doing, I pray they're dotting, again, all of their I's and crossing all of their T's. It's so very, 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 very important. I cannot stress enough. Evidence will include, and this is what I was going to tell y'all, evidence will include witness testimony, any eyewitnesses or people or a person, anybody who heard anything, who heard a confession, threats, seen, saw anything unusual, any type of behavior or anything suspicious, anything like that, you need to speak up. It don't matter if you were a neighbor in that community. It don't matter if you saw Katie stop on the side of the road, if you saw Corella stop on the side of the road. It does not matter if you saw somebody pick up a piece of bubble gum in the yard that may be involved. This case may or may not need you to speak up. But I'm going to advise you, if you do that, you need to write down who you spoke to and who you gave that information to, because this case needs to be solved. And you don't need to go back later and they say, oh, they didn't tell me. Yeah, like the neighbor that said they saw Sebastian get washed with the pressure washer. Absolutely. If that was real, absolutely. And you need to speak up. I don't care who you are. It could have been that man and those people sitting in the booth at the Texas Roadhouse that overheard something that night, which I'm sure Katie wasn't saying much, but if she said something to Sebastian, speak up, spit it out. I know you've seen your face splattered, and Katie and them's face splattered all over the Texas Roadhouse. Speak up. It don't matter who you are. Come forward. If you heard something, say something. You could have seen Katie at freaking Walmart in the West Nashville, or out there in Green Hills. Wasn't she working at Brinks in Green Hills? You could have seen her buying a freaking shovel, for example, or something odd 2 weeks before. Come forward. I don't know. Or an extra pair of tennis shoes. You just happen to remember you was in line behind her or in front of her, and you turned around. I'm so sorry. I'm holding up the line because the light went off. I don't know. And you noticed she had an extra pair of tennis shoes. Y'all need to use some common sense, because there's somebody out there that knows some stuff, in my opinion. I don't know if you need to type it and you're too scared to come forward, and you need to type it, and you need to mail a copy to all the parties, the DA, the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, and the TBI, and the FBI, and the Attorney General, and the damn news stations, all at the same time, to make sure somebody gets it, but just get it where it needs to go. If you know something, just make sure you know it gets there. Then you got your physical evidence. Well, we don't know. We keep saying they dropped the ball. We don't know if Ellie took something out of that house that morning. I'm sure they didn't believe everything by their actions and reactions and what they were telling. We don't know what they eyed with their professional, allegedly, eyesight and saw out of place or picked up or took with them that Katie don't even know about or realize. Remember, Chris at that time wasn't there to bogart anybody. He was in, allegedly, Memphis. They could have took something right under Katie's nose, and everyone else is in that house for that matter. But we know they didn't do forensics. Hey, Joe Neal, come in, welcome. We know they didn't do forensics, and we do know that they did drop the ball at least halfway, in my opinion. I hope so too, Raymond. I hope that's what he's not talking about. Because money does talk and bullshit walks. We all know that. Until they keep coming back for more. Or until somebody overhears. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But we know they didn't do forensics. That even come out of Chris's mouth. Of course, we can't believe nothing they say. Hey, Aaron, Sharon, everybody coming in. Hello, welcome. So Chris told they didn't even do fingerprints. He even told me on mine they didn't even do luminol. Seth stayed there 3 days and none of that was done. But did they see something? Did they see something like any signs of struggle that they just wrote down? Did they do any of that? We don't know. We don't know what they actually have, and they're not going to tell us that. They're not going to tell anybody in that house that. They're not going to tell Seth that. They're not going to tell Katie that. Now, do they have DNA? We don't know, because guess what? They're always going to take something for DNA, for dental records, his toothbrush, his hairbrush, something. And they could have easily said, we're going to take this because that's protocol for if we find anything, we need to match it, period. And they probably did that as protocol. That would just be my guess. That would be my educated guess. But, who knows? Joe said, I'm not sure there would have been bioevidence in the house indicating what happened. Right. Yeah, we don't know that. We don't know that. So we don't know. I don't think it was especially violent, so no blood, no. Yeah. Yeah, it would have to be, I would think, Joe, it would have to be something they saw that they were trained to see with their eye, just to catch with their eye, maybe something out of place, but I'm not, because they didn't. Yeah, Alicia's right. They didn't do forensics. Yeah, I know you're speculating. Yeah. But and that's what I would say. I would just say something out of their eye that they would have to catch. But again, that maybe they would pick up or something like that. But again, when you got Katie and Corella in there talking about necklaces and laughing and giggling and carrying on, anything could have been picked up and bagged and carried out of the house without her even noticing. You know what I'm saying? Jesus Christ. I hope the necklace itself is worth a damn $1 million, if you ask me. I'm just saying. I hope it's got Dalmatian spots all over it. That's what I hope. I hope it's a pretty Dalmatian imprint on it. I don't know. I know exactly, Mama Risa. Who's even thinking about that? Jesus Christ. Oh, it's like pushing up damn daisies or something. Lord have mercy. Yeah, and that pocket on his brain. Yeah, exactly. And you would think if she heard a thud, which she didn't mention that until Nancy Grace, she sure didn't mention it on mine. She just heard something. You would have thought she would have went in there to see. That ain't what she did, though. But I asked them both. Of course, Katie she never spoke unless she said, I love my husband, or I don't know about y'all, but I love my husband. I talk to my husband. No, it's not interfering with time I spend with my son because I love my husband. All that kind of stuff. Yeah. But anyway, I don't even know. Yes, it did. But what about Heather? Let's talk about Heather, the PI. Let's talk about her for a minute. Or whoever allegedly had the box of photos and the stuff that they found down by the store. Where's all that evidence? It just get tossed? It get tossed? So why didn't Ellie come collect that? You know, it doesn't matter if it was put there, run there, crawled there, planted, granted, rhymed, chimed, whatever in the hell. It was pictures. It was Katie's name on it. How do you know the perpetrator that took Sebastian didn't take off with a load of pictures? How do you know Sebastian didn't take a load of pictures with him? I don't know. I'm just saying. But you're going to tell me that Ellie didn't collect those, wouldn't come collect them, all the crap, and the PI, who I feel, in my opinion, was playing both sides. That's just me, myself, and I ain't nobody's mama and daddy. I got 4 kids, but I ain't nobody's mama and daddy that's disappeared. So I'm going to say what the hell I want. So you're going to tell me, myself, and I, if I was a PI, she got fired. Remember, Joe, that was one of the old PIs. So you're going to tell earlier in the case, way earlier. So you're going to tell me you're going to not walk that in yourself, put on some gloves, because you evidently took it away from the scene. But you ain't going to put on some gloves and literally take that into the sheriff's department yourself if they can't come get it. I don't get it. I don't make it make sense. But see, I always thought something was fishy because she was trying to suck up her, remember the phone call, Joe? Yeah, on Web Sleuth, talking to Chris. Yeah. That's just me, myself, and I. Just saying. So I don't know. I don't get it. I just, why certain things is not Ellie and concerned with. Then we got inconsistencies. Oh, we have no problem, or not we. Ellie should have no problem with the inconsistencies in statements. They change stories. They're conflicting timelines. We have zero problem with that, so I shouldn't even have to go down that. Zero. Not only in YouTube land, but in interviews on local news, Nancy Grace, America's Most Wanted. God only knows what they told Ellie in any of their questioning or anything like that. But then you got your medical or forensic. Well, nobody, we don't have any of that, or I'm sure they don't. They would have to have Sebastian to have that. However, it is strange that there is that picture of Chris's arm, but, they didn't inspect his arm. We know that. They only have the photo, and it's, a little bit late for that, but people can only speculate, and I doubt they could bring that into court. That's just my opinion. Who knows what they can or cannot do. Yeah, they can't even keep their script straight, honestly. But then there's behavior patterns. You got hot, you got cold, you got manic, you got lying, you know. You got people calling, playing pranks, making fun, mocking Sebastian. You got all that, you know. And yes, they use all of the above that I just talked about to even investigate foul play and criminal cases. Absolutely. Even when it's a typical runaway case that's not consistent with a behavior of a child and who would run away. And Sebastian is definitely not a child who would run away or who did run away. And we know that. He didn't run away, period. Lakeside Lawyer says, Smiley, I'm starting to seriously question the personal community ties that might be keeping this case from being solved. Honey, you and me both. You and me both. I think people need to start speaking out because there's a lot of ties there. These people wave a lot of money around. Because their pockets are deep within that community. They support a lot of businesses. And ties do run deep. I agree. Now, in the state of Tennessee, you can ask for immunity even before you have been charged with a crime. Hey, Barbara. Good to see you. I hope you're having a wonderful day. You can be charged. You can ask for immunity even before you have been charged or are being charged with a crime. It's unusual, but I'm going to tell you how it works. Immunity protects someone from being prosecuted in exchange for them cooperating, most likely cooperating for their testimony. You can get blanket immunity, and that's full protection for anything related to your testimony. Your statements cannot be used against you, and no evidence. You can still be charged using independent evidence, but you might ask for immunity if you are a witness or think you're going to be a witness in a case, and fear of self-incrimination. So if you think you're going to be a witness and if you're in fear you're going to self-incriminate yourself, or you have to testify in front of a grand jury, or if law enforcement wants to question you without an attorney or with your attorney present, you will have to have them contact your attorney to contact the DA's office. They will draw up the immunity papers in exchange for your testimony from your information, and your cooperation. But while you're waiting on those papers to be drawn up, you can also invoke your Fifth Amendment rights until immunity is granted. Now, for high-profile cases such as Sebastian's, it could take 2 weeks or more. Sometimes it even takes 6 weeks to get it approved. But roughly it can take about a week to approve. It just depends. It depends. If you have anything that you know that you want to tell about this case, or you want to come forward and you're scared you're going to incriminate yourself, I would suggest that you go to the DA and ask for immunity. There's more than one person involved in this case. There's more than one person that knows something. There's people protecting each other. You know? But it may be worth a shot. It don't mean you're going to get it. Especially if it's a main suspect and they think we're going to get you anyway. But it sure as hell is worth a try. If you are out there and you are in the community, or you know something, and you or are just in the family, I don't know whose family, I'm not saying, or a friend, even a foe, but you know something, don't sit on this kind of thing. Look, it's HIPAA. It's HIPAA, so I don't know. I only know because his wife put it out on Instagram. See, Sebastian went missing in February, and I think it was September. Tooth Man had surgery, was all up in the hospital with surgery. So I don't know what's happening with you, Mr. Socks. But is it really worth all of this stress and health and, you know, all the things? Your family's falling apart, man. How deep are you into this? I'm just wondering. It's a simple question. I'm just curious. Isn't enough enough? I think the time has come to go ask for immunity. The truth is going to come out either way. May not come out as fast, but it's going to come out either way. Somebody knows. If anyone else wants to clear your mind, please call 1-800-TBI-FIND, 615-451-3838. Y'all, please answer your phones or check your text or check your messages. Might be an important tip on there. Sebastian Wayne Rogers is missing still. Or you can call 1-833-TELL-DOG. Leave the message, leave the tip, and keep saying his name, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. He is not alone, and his story is not over Justice is coming. Thank you all for being here, and I appreciate y'all. And I hope y'all have a great rest of the day. Thank you. Bye.